Presenting now is Akin-Ajayi Seun Collins. He is a master's student in music at Obafemi Awolwo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. His research investigates contemporary listener engagement with organ music through a comparative study of audience responses to two contrasting works. His arrangement of Kizz Buga and J.S. Bach's BWV 553 performed on a digital organ. He has served as an organist in Ibadan for over 28 years and is currently the organist at the Chapel of the Resurrection, University of Ibadan, where he also presented the last chapel's annual organ recital series on the 8th of June 2025. He will be presenting What Moves the Modern Ear? A comparative study of listeners' reaction to Kizz Buga and Bach's BWV 553 on digital organ.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back from our tea break. Let me quickly correct an impression. Okay, I think the correction is it's not BWV 553, it is 533. I'm sorry for that typo. Let me start with a question. I'd like to start with a question. When you think of pipe organ, what comes to mind? Bach. Thank you. Church. European classical music. Toccata. Now, imagine hearing Kizz Buga on the same instrument. Will it sound like an organ? Will it feel genuine? Authentic? Most importantly, will it change our perception of the instrument? So let's watch two videos. First, Bach, BWV 533, and Buga. Stop it. I think most of organ listeners are familiar with this piece. Let's listen to Buga. That's probably 2 minutes. Thank you. Now, background to this research is, we all know organ music in Nigeria is somehow stereotyped to be in the church alone. When you talk of organ, Dr. Sinige was just telling me at the power cut break that why not pianism? I said pianism is true. Everybody hears about piano. We hear piano, everyone. But when you talk about the organ, people think of the church alone. Now, why don't we have people listening to organ much? If we put traditional repertoire into organ, if you fuse it into organ, will it increase audience participation or listening? Then will it motivate our audience? Then why this research? Because it's an artistic research and it is still ongoing. In fact, the findings surprised me as a researcher because I thought automatically it is going to swing in one way. But when the result came, it was something else. Can contemporary Nigerian repertoire increase appreciation for organ music? That is the reason why I engage in this. The objectives, to compare audience responses, to examine their perception of both offering, explore audience development. Does it change them? Do they remain neutral? Then to make recommendation, no matter how few. The methodology, practice-based statistic research, it is practice-based, as we can say from the video. This was carried out mainly on Facebook and through Google Inform, only 20 responses. That surprised me so much because I have on my Facebook, I have followers of more than 3,000. But I have 20 responses. That is the first shock I received. And then I motivated them the second time. In fact, first time it was 12. Then I motivated them, another 8 came. That's why I said probably the research will not end this year. Now, the profile of the respondents, you can see the 40% represent 26 to 35 years, which is young age, young adult. If you look at the gender, only 20% is female. Highest education qualification, we can see that 60% have at least bachelor's degree. And then those who have formal training in music, those who have any formal music training is 55%. You can see my respondents are musically informed people. So, and that was not what I thought when I started. Audience preference, which performance appealed to you more? This is the first surprise I received. I thought almost everybody would go for Buga because I was intentional playing Buga. I didn't play it in local way. I deliberately put it to play it the way Bach also will sound. You know, I didn't use African way of playing. I can do that. I've done that many times. But both those who enjoy it equally are 45%, which means they are even more than the other two categories. The enjoyment rating, that is where the shock came, the more. Enjoyment rating in, let me put it down there. Mean enjoyment, when you calculate the means, you will now see that Buga receive enjoyment, although it is minimal, the difference is minimal, but the enjoyment rating of Buga is a little more than enjoyment of Bach, despite the fact that those who say they want Bach are more than those who wanted Buga. And the most important findings here, 70% change perception. They said that hearing Buga on the organ changed their perception about the instrument. That is what I got. 95% of them want more Nigerian organ music to be introduced, and 95% believe it's going to attract audiences. Now, discussion. Now, where this one come from? The audience really want, because there are open questions in the Google form. Not everything is not structured. Or not structured. So repertoire diversity, they want a Nigerian, indigenous, or popular music brought into the organ. So, And that makes them to engage with the organ. Normally, they will not want to listen to. That was what I got from the open-ended questions. And then, if we couldn't have gotten that because if not for this kind of research, that means we need to engage more in this kind of artistic research. Now, let me make some recommendations. Actually, when I started this, I thought it's going to be overwhelmingly for Buga. But it now showed me that people are not going to jettison classical music, Western classical music, and pick popular music because it is brought to the organ. At the end of the day, what they want is repertoire diversity. So it will be good for organists, church musicians to include culturally popular tune into their music programming or concert programming. That way, it is going to attract audience to the concert. Then, the music departments all over the country should engage undergraduate to do what? To do a kind of composition using the popular music as the basis. The conclusion here is the future of organ music in Nigeria lies not in choosing between Bach or Nigerian and the Nigerian music, but in creating meaningful artistic dialogue between them. Such dialogue preserves the classical tradition while making the instrument more culturally accessible. That's what I was looking for. Culturally accessible to contemporary audiences. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, thank you very much for that presentation. I think you're right. You're still at the beginning. So if you're getting 8 per year, so so in about 20 years time, I know. Yeah, I'm just kidding. So I think the basic principle is a very valid thesis. I'm just wondering that if, for example, you had played a piece of music that is not overtly kind of popular, defined timbrally in a different way, maybe rhythm and so on and so forth, because that music is popular music, which is quite away from culturally far, or distant from what the organ does. If, for example, you had used a piece like Babalawo Muwabe Alu, the Bach will just die. It will, So nobody will even remember that one. So I think it has to do with the choice of the piece. That's why you were disappointed. Buga is not something that the organ is inherently predisposed towards. The other point is that you said the people on your followers are kind of musically knowledgeable. Oh, not all of them. Yeah. Okay. So
the respondents are musically oriented.
Exactly. So all the other people, because they don't know much about the organ, that sort of thing. But I think maybe you should try it with a variety of pieces and see whether you can get a more holistic result. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I
don't know if those on site can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
On
can hear
site?
you now. Yeah.
Okay, I think we need to move on because Mr. Seun has exhausted his time so that we can take up presenters. Thank you to Mr. Seun Akin-Ajayi. Mine is a methodology question, but I can ask you later since we can connect after this session. I don't know if they can hear me on site.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
So
we can
I
hear
think
you.
our time is up, so we need to take the next presenter, except maybe because of the. Mr. Seun, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying that do we have more time because we are supposed to have rounded up the session at 4:45. So I'm asking if we want to give us, if the organizers will allow us to take some questions, or we should move to the next presenter. So that's
Hello,
Hello,
Dr. Jesse.
Yes.
Please, let's just carry on with this session. 10-minute discussion, then we'll move to the next one. Yeah.
Okay.
We are sorry about the confusion. Sorry about that.
Okay. Mr. Seun, sorry, I just wanted to be, I'm a man under authority, so I have to go with. Okay, so can we take, I think we have a question online, Zoom user. Please, Zoom user, can you unmute yourself and then ask your question? Please, let's make it very brief so that we can wrap this up.
I'm sorry, okay, first of all, I want to confirm if it is Kizz Daniel's Buga that you adapted in that work. All right. So I would like to first of all establish that the people who listened to the music, you claimed you said that they listened more because of Buga. It's because it's Buga, but I would say it's because of the title, not because they have definitely not heard the content yet. They know that the music is titled Buga, so that's why they wanted to hear it. So do you agree with that? No, okay, but anyway, yeah, because this, it's my current work is also in the adaptation of popular music in Nigerian art music. So I would say that there are I have identified two types of adaptation. There is complete and partial, in the sense that the complete adaptation would, engage the source material more, like embodies it, rather than the partial one where that theme is lost in it. It's subsumed under the classical, elements now. So you also mentioned that you have tried to play it. Maybe that's what you meant when you said you have tried to play it in the Nigerian way before also. That's not what you meant. Okay, but if that is not what you meant, maybe if you tried to doing that, they now test the audience reception. Again, maybe they would I'm very sure, but well, maybe until you have tried it, you can confirm it too, that they will engage with it more and try it across several platforms too, not just Facebook. Then, okay, I'll put a pin on in there. Thank you.
Buga did not receive highest viewing. If you look at my response, it's only when it comes to enjoyment rating. Enjoyment rating, not that some respondents watched, they liked Buga more than Bach. Bach came at top, 30%, then Buga 25%. So, and it was deliberate that I played it like the other video, the Bach. I want it to be along the same line. I said I've played other pieces in traditional way before that received a lot of reception. So, but this one, it was deliberate to play it the way Bach will sound, and then the way it will stand on the organ. Let's see if people will prefer that with.
Okay.
There's a Zoom user. There's somebody online. Zoom user, can you unmute yourself? Okay, if the person, can we take other online speakers?
Yes. Thank you very much. Ogidiaki. I'm more interested in the process of creating the music. with this research that you have done, is it a concern to you to think of your listeners against what you want to deliver? And I'm going to throw this question to our fathers in the house, the professors in the house, Professor Mojolanda Gao, because, forgive me, I think we're still evolving. What should we think about? Why should we be concerned about the reception or concerned about the delivery? Yes, we know that Bach, he engaged with this audience, they could relate with what he was doing. Do you get it? But our story is not like that of Bach. We have a lot of, that's the bit between art music, popular music. And again, if you want to extend this line of inquiry, some of us who are thinking about African pianism, we're even thinking that is going towards the reign of popular music. Do we want to care about what people think in the process? And the great Akin-Ajayi also asked that question, that should we seek approval?
Well, to answer your question, sir, I think I would say yes and no. Because I don't want to dodge, but for me, it's about, for all my recordings before I started this, thinking about this research, I didn't care about what people say. I just deliver what I want to deliver. But maybe this one, I cared about what the audience will be like, what the reception will be like. What I was thinking was, if I bring this 533 from 8 church fugues, which I think is popular enough, then bring it side by side with Buga, what would the reception will be like? That was just my thinking. I wasn't thinking whether they will like it or not, or care whether, but for me, I was just curious, because I could do Buga in another way that probably will, and probably I wasn't reaching the kind of audience that, because that's the area that I'm thinking about now. Probably I'm not, because these people they have music education to some extent. So I don't think this is the right audience. I'm still going to try other ways before I conclude on it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seun. I'm thinking, are you about organ music, or organ performance? Research can be very broad. It depends on your lens, through which you are looking at it. So I think if you can just pick an angle there, that will make your intention clearer. Well, for me, looking at what you have demonstrated, I know that it's more of trend. The anime we held in our university in 2023, we performed underwater music and bandana. When we were doing water music, other music, people look so serious, contemplative nature of classical music looking at us. But when I hearing bandana, da 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 da, still play, in the it becomes participatory, function like African music. So I feel that there are studies around various angles of music. In that one, we are beginning trend into organ performance, so that organ can be acceptable to younger generation. And that's where you are coming from. Exactly. Thank you. Just to clear that.
Dr. Sam?
Okay. Can those on site hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's take Zoom user online. Then I think we can conclude this session. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. If you can hear me,
yes, I can.
Mr. Seun Akin-Ajayi, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation. I'm just curious. You said moving the ears, sort of. But I also want to point your attention to the example you chose, particularly the Buga. That Buga doesn't only move the ear, it also moves the body. And so, and there's also body listening. Do you consider that when you're trying to adapt it for the organ? That's one. You have built your audience on Facebook. I'm also your audience, part of your audience. So I'm your fan. I'm a fan of your organ playing. So don't you think that itself is problematic because you're trying to, extend to the general public, but you have a focused audience, and in that kind of research, how do you solve the issue? Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Can I respond to that now?
Yeah, Mr. Seun, please, you can do that.
All right. You said Buga also moves the body, but I wasn't thinking about, because organ nobody moves to organ sound. It's about listening. So I was thinking about the listening aspect of organs when I was doing that. Then, the second question I forgot now. I think my time is up now.
Thank you.